In 1998, Monica Lewinsky couldn't go out her apartment door without cameras trailing behind her. Every late-night talk show host spoofed her. Every newspaper featured her name. She accumulated fortunes telling her tale. In one single interview, she earned $1 million. Her book rights earned a price tag of $500,000. Then came a strange phenomenon. The money flowed in but disappeared within moments. The amount she has in her bank account is a figure that doesn't fit her fame. And her reason for that defies everything she seemed. On July 23, 1973, Monica Lewinsky arrived in San Francisco. Her dad, Bernard Lewinsky, is a rich cancer oncologist. Was his background rich in enough drama? His ancestors had fled from the Nazis in the 1920s. They initially fled to El Salvador, later migrating to the States when Bernard was a tender 14. On her mother's side, she also came from a line full of tales of survival and reinvention, which Monica inherited. Her mom, Marcia Lewis, didn't remain a housewife. She sought her own fame, authoring a book on the Three Tenors in 1996. It's evident that from the very start, this is a family historical background with a deep connection to the stars, ambition, gossip, and, of course, scandal. She grew up in Beverly Hills inside a Spanish-style mansion, which cost a cool $1.6 million back in the 1980s. Her dad's practice raked in a cool $37,000 a month. This translates to a whooping $400,000 a year. They splurged on vacations, which cost a staggering $20,000 a year. They drove around in Cadillacs and Mercedes, with regular concert dates at the Symphony. Monica's spending on her side, even with a professional team, is literally astronomical. That's $720 a month on tennis tutorials, $300 on a babysitter, and a cool $100 for her hair alone. She attended the best educational institutes, initially at Sinai Aqaba, later John Thomas Dye in Bear. Her fellow students came from among the kids of Hollywood producers. They led a life of opulence, with cars arriving on their 16th birthday. It's a dream life. Yet, the gates inside were on the verge of a complete breakdown. Everything fell apart when Monica turned 14. Her parents' relationship derailed in 1987. The split was dirty. Marcia accused her husband of adultery, even buying his lover trinkets from Tiffany and Louis Vuitton. There were violent incidents. Monica listened to her dad shout, "You're a moron." Monica's dad banned his kids from talking at dinner. The cost of the therapy alone was $1,800 a month. Monica attended her own therapy sessions, which cost $700 to $60 a month. Years later, when she was caught on tape, she confessed, "I was raised on lies. I have been a liar my entire life." It wasn't a broken home. It was a home torn apart by dysfunction, a maelstrom of emotions that planted a lethal seed. Monica quickly learned how power, pain, and deception could get entwined. In high school, Monica sought refuge in theater. She joined a close-knit drama club, which became her refuge. It all ended when she learned that her drama teacher had killed himself. That shocked her. Monica transferred to a private high school called Bear Prep, which cost $12,000 a year. It had only 7 seniors, all from troubled, rich backgrounds. Monica was one of them. She immersed herself in music, art, and drama, becoming, in the end, valedictorian. Her high school yearbook predicted her future plans. Monica wrote messages from Ezra Pound and Dr. Seuss. Her friends thought she'd be a star someday. Yeah, but nobody expected what happened next. At age 19, Monica embarked on a 5-year relationship with a drama teacher from high school. His name was Andy Bleer. Bleer was 40, with a wife and kids. Monica followed him all the way to Portland, Oregon, when she went on to college at Lewis and Clark. To make things even weirder, he brought his entire family with him. Monica even babysat his kids while continuing her affair with Bleer. Monica is a friend of his wife's. It's a strange way to live, but Monica apparently loved the arrangement. Bleer's attorney later said that Monica had a strange obsessive fixation on sex that compelled her to magnify experiences so she'd appear more impressive to others. Monica told the Bleers she'd go on to the White House, get her presidential knee pads. Before leaving for Washington, D.C., Monica called Bleer from 5 different phones, from 2 to 5 times a day. Even as she became involved with President Clinton, she continued to feed all of this information back to Andy, complaining that Clinton only wanted oral sex. This is a continuing theme. Monica sought power, danger, and respect from already engaged men. Then, at Lewis and Clark, Monica pursued a degree in psychology. It's fitting. Her interests included people, feelings, and power. Even going back to childhood, she has said she has a dream to work for the FBI. The irony here is that she later stated, "I did work with the FBI as a federal target." In college, she had an outgoing, boisterous sort of personality. Professor described her as someone who'd strike up a conversation with a complete stranger. But her friends saw a different side of her. Someone who couldn't keep a secret. Someone who gossips. Someone who talks openly about her relationship with Bleer. This is a stressful ordeal, enough that she sought therapy. She's still trying to figure out what's going on with her, but she's still going into the same downward spiral she's been in. She graduated with honors in psychology in 1995 at age 22. Despite what she'd been going through, she managed to make the dean's list. In her senior year, she worked a total of 3 jobs. She sold ties at a downtown kiosk. She worked a practicum position at a mental health center, although she didn't do particularly well there. She also worked as an intern at a legal aid group, where she collected data that would help people avoid going to jail. It seems that her heart is in the right place, but she's clearly ill-equipped to take care of herself. Then came the turn of fate that changed her life irrevocably. Only a month after graduating, Monica accepted an unpaid internship at the White House. This came to her via a high-level contact of a friend of her mother's, a high-level Democratic supporter, no less. Her unpaid internship position is with the office of Leon Panetta, who is the chief of staff for President Bill Clinton. She has no particular experience, no particular skills, but she has a degree and a contact, which is enough in this case. In November 1995, most of the White House staff were let go when the government effectively shut down for a week, but unpaid interns, such as Monica, were encouraged to stay. She'd been on the job less than a month, but now she's one of the handful of people left in the West Wing. That's when the president started making regular appearances. Most of the staff were gone, but Bill Clinton started making regular appearances in the office of the chief of staff, and that is when he noticed her. He was 49, she 22. Over the next couple of days, he noticed her on multiple occasions. There was one particular incident that stood out. It happened at a small birthday party, when she realized that her lingerie straps were visible from her pants. She noticed him staring at her, but she didn't do anything to cover it. Later, he called her to his office. Her heart, she said, was pounding. Others around her noticed that she was spending a lot of time with him, enough that someone even joked that she was getting more face time with the president than most senior aides. Others, however, were horrified. It wasn't a subtle behavior, and people in the office were secretly looking for a way to remove her from there. It didn't matter, because it was already too late. On November 15, 1995, a couple of days after that particular birthday party, she arrived at the White House around 1:30 in the afternoon. She left temporarily, but she came back at 5:07 p.m. That's when she didn't leave until 12:18 a.m. The president's calendar showed that he, too, was in the White House. This particular evening, it seems, marked the beginning of a relationship that would affect the lives of 2 people, as well as the fate of American politics forevermore. Over the ensuing 18 months, there would be 9 known instances of sexual contact. This happened even in George Stephanopoulos' office. There were instances where he unbuckled her dress from her neck to her ankles, instances where he recited her telephone numbers from his heart, instances where he exposed himself, instances that culminated in them having sex even in George Stephanopoulos' office. There is more that happened, which is sexual contact of sorts, but that is enough. There are physical gifts, with which she showered him profusely. Gifts of designer ties, books, a Sherlock Holmes game, even frog-related things. Then there are things he showered her with, such as poetry collections, even stuffed animals from Martha's Vineyard. The most significant of these is one that is particularly intimate. It's a framed photo of him wearing a tie that she had given him. He called her late at night, left messages on her answering machine, said he missed her, said he wished she was home when he called. There are at least 3 such calls that are recorded. On one such call, Lewinsky is talking to her friend Linda Tripp, who realized later that it was the president on the other side of the line. Monica bonded emotionally. Monica thought she was special, his choice. Then came the blue dress. On the 28th of February, in one of their final sessions, he climaxed on her navy blue dress during oral sex. Monica didn't realize it. Monica wore it to dinner that evening. Later, she considered wearing it to Thanksgiving dinner. That is when she noticed the stain. Linda Tripp encouraged her not to clean it. Monica called it an insurance policy with Linda. She told her that she thought the dress made her look really fat, to encourage her not to wear it again. This dress would become the most crucial piece of evidence against the president. Monica finally delivered it to investigators in July 1998, and the FBI later verified that the president's DNA was on it. Monica's denial ended, but even before that, staff members had been working to keep them apart. In April 1996, the president's confidant, Evelyn Lieberman, the deputy chief of staff, transferred Monica to the Pentagon. The reason is official lack of professional behavior and inferior work performance. The real reason is that she was spending too much time with the president. Monica's relationship with the president didn't end, though. For several months, Monica continued talking to him on the telephone. No more physical encounters, but mentally, she was still bound to him. Monica even indulged in telephone sex with him. Monica still had hopes that he would leave his wife for her. May 1997 is when he broke up with her. The manner he broke up with her broke her heart. This is when she realized that he had been making the same promise to every woman he slept with. The president told Monica, as reported by the Star, that he has been carrying on with hundreds of others prior to his 40th birthday, but has been monogamous since then. This is when she realized that she is but a drop in a sea of people. Monica started working in the Pentagon, where she met Linda Tripp. Monica was 23. Tripp was over 20 years older. She had connections with the White House, too, and understood the world Monica had been pulled from. To begin with, she adopted a motherly role. Monica, brittle and broken-hearted, clung to her. She confided in her, shared her heart, trusted her with the one secret she couldn't tell a soul: the affair. But Tripp wasn't what she thought she was. Tripp secretly started taping her calls with Monica. She recorded over 20 hours, worth over a period of several months. Monica never guessed a thing. She was open with Linda, even vulnerable. She told her everything. About Clinton's behavior, how she was confused, how she desperately wanted to believe that he cared. The calls revealed her inner turmoil, even moments where she said, "I can't take it anymore. It's too much for one person." Tripp didn't stop there. She spent more than 100 hours with investigators, going through the recordings, notes, and minute details with Kenneth Starr's legal team. Tripp was preparing a case not against only the president, but taking Monica's own words against him as the evidence. Then came January 1998. Monica signed an affidavit, admitting she never had a sexual relationship with Clinton. It was a fib, a white flag waving high for protection against the Paula Jones suit. The suit had been ongoing since 1994, but now it was on the verge of eruption. Monica was not merely trying to cover a scandal. They were committing perjury, too, but she didn't do it alone. She begged Linda to fib for her, called her nonstop to maintain the president's integrity. Tripp had a different opinion, though. She approached the FBI with all she had. In January 1998, she delivered all the recordings to Kenneth Starr, the head of the White House inquiry. Then, still needing assurance, she had a wire installed on her so that she, in effect, eavesdropped on one last lunch with Monica at a Virginia shopping mall. That conversation saw to that. "I wanted this relationship brought out in the biggest way," Tripp told ABC News later. She said she was doing it for the people, that Clinton was the mean one. But the repercussions landed heaviest on Monica. The recordings precipitated the impeachment of Clinton. They yielded a $90,000 fine and a 5-year suspension of his lawyer's license. This situation brought Monica's private life into every newspaper, television show, and late-night joke in the country. On January 26, 1998, President Bill Clinton stood at a White House podium with his wife, Hillary, by his side. The cameras are rolling. The whole world is watching. As he gazes straight ahead with a fraught expression, declaring, "I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky." Then he repeated it, this time even more slowly. "These allegations are false," he added before concluding with, "I need to go back to work for the American people." It sounded strong, final, but it wasn't true. He never said her first name. A friend later observed. He never called her by her first name. That woman. She had been a 24-year-old woman reduced to a political threat, not a person. Every detail had been planned by Clinton's representatives. The phrase sexual relations, for instance, had been specifically confined, excluding oral sex. This meant, from a strictly juridical perspective, he wasn't exactly telling a fib. But for millions of Americans, and specifically for Monica, it's a hideous deceit, yet merely a prelude. The scandal broke on January 17th, 9 days earlier, with a sensational story reported on Drudge Report News. In an instant, Monica is one of the most ubiquitous names in the entire country. Not, however, in a positive way.